right, we're going. I don't remember what I'm doing here, so let's go. Let's do this. So Candace Owens went out on a maternity leave because she had her fourth kid, I think. And Ian Carroll filled in for her for a couple weeks and was doing her show, and yeah, did manage to not get her banned. And this was the last episode that he did. Now, I thought part of this was kind of interesting. I kind of have a soft spot for kids that have disabilities. Always have. Most people should, right? I mean, come on, Bacon here does. And this kind of had to do with that subject, so let's get it. Here's Ian Carroll. This guy's an awesome podcaster. He's got a really good semi-new podcast. He's been doing it maybe a couple years. He was working in a grocery store a few years ago, and he's gotten kind of big. He's a cool dude. I like him. Let's check it out. Let's get it. Maybe.
And so, to finish us off for today, let's go all the way to left field for something completely different. The Telepathy Tapes. This is one of my absolute favorite digs right now, and everyone's going to feel all kinds of ways about it. If you haven't listened to the Telepathy Tapes yet, it's a podcast in 10 parts, and all I ask is that before passing judgments on the veracity of any of what we're about to talk about, just listen to them. Listen to them in order from 1 to 10. Come to your own conclusions.
I've gotten through the first one. It was pretty cool. I gotta finish it. Yeah, 10 episodes. I'm gonna watch them. Maybe we'll do one of those.
They're on YouTube in a playlist with the cute pink cassette tape. You can listen for free. They're not hard to find. And now, I'm going to do my best to summarize one of the main threads that they discuss. Nonverbal autistic kids seem to be telepathic.
Okay.
But most people probably misinterpret that sentence in just about every way possible, so let me explain. A certain portion of severely autistic children are nonverbal. These are the kids that uncontrollably bang their heads into walls and smear poop everywhere and rock back and forth and scream at the top of their lungs. Being a parent to one of these children is one of the hardest things a human could ever do. And for the longest time, mainstream science figured that there was just nobody inside there. Their brains were just not wired right. They must not have any intelligence since they can't even control their bodies. But then,
for the record, I've never thought that. These beautiful children, I've always thought they have a place in heaven with us all, right? And maybe they were divine. Who knows? I never knew. I could never get it.
In the 60s and 70s, a bunch of therapists realized that you could teach these kids and adults to use their gross motor skills to touch letters on a big letterboard and spell out words. They can't form words with the fine motor skills of their tongues or even type on a keyboard with the fine motor skills of their fingers, but with focus and training, they can learn to use these letterboards. Once they started teaching nonverbal autistic kids to use these letterboards, they realized that these kids not only had personalities and intelligence hidden inside these uncontrollable bodies, but they were actually smart. Like, really smart. Like, these kids were so smart, it defied all rational explanation. As the use of these letterboards became more and more widespread through the 70s and 80s and 90s, parents and therapists all around the country and world started all realizing in isolation that their nonverbal children were more than just smart. They were doing something not explainable by conventional science. They could do things like type out the entire Declaration of Independence word for word without...
What? Say that again, Ian?
Isolation, that their nonverbal children were more than just smart. They were doing something not explainable by conventional science. They could do things like type out the entire Declaration of Independence word for word without stopping, with no errors, having never read or studied it as far as their parents knew. They could type out other classical literature too, like the Gettysburg Address. It took them forever, obviously, because they were using a letterboard, but they made it with no errors, word for word. Other kids could type in foreign languages they had never learned. Some of them could even read hieroglyphics and other ancient languages with no training. Almost all of these parents and therapists also had some version of realizing that these non-speakers, as they're referred to in the podcast, could read their minds.
On speakers.
They knew this, not only because
Beautiful
the non-speakers
children.
would tell them directly that they could, but also because the non-speakers could demonstrate it with 100% accuracy over and over and over again, day after day, under basically any circumstances. And now, at this point, if you've never heard of the Telepathy Tapes, this is probably all a little much, and you're probably wondering where the hell I'm going with this and exactly when I lost my mind. Firstly, the Telepathy Tapes is following the work of a Johns Hopkins and Harvard-educated doctor named Diane Hennessy Pell. But she is far from alone in this research. And what makes this research and this series so interesting to me is actually not her credentials, but just the sheer scope of the phenomenon. We're talking about thousands of people reporting the same thing independently all across the US and beyond. People that have never spoken to or met one another. For decades, they all...
See, I haven't gotten to that in the doc yet. That's the first episode is just about one family, basically, and it's amazing. It's how it all got started, and the doctor, obviously, from Harvard. But yeah, I can't wait. That's crazy. Thousands of parents with this that are experiencing this. Come on. This is interesting. Come on.
all thought that they were the only ones, because anytime they would mention it to someone, they would be called crazy. And parents of nonverbal autistic kids are already some of the most self-isolating people in society, because it's really hard to raise a severely autistic child.
Yes.
So, for decades, thousands of families all discovered this in unison, all alone. But it gets crazier, because it turns out that all the non-speakers can communicate with each other telepathically at any time. And they do. Just about every day. They are able to demonstrate this at will by doing things like telling the podcast host things about another family on the other side of the country whom they have never met, being able to tell her things that are happening that day for other non-speakers far away. You really have to listen to the podcast to understand how...
That's incredible. That's better than the Betazoids in Star Trek Next Generation. Yeah. Kids that can communicate in different cities. Come on. This is awesome.
Weird and wild it all is. And there's a whole darker conspiracy theory that I've dug into before around how we suddenly have all these injections and simultaneously, but totally unrelated, we have this massive spike in autism, just as we're discovering that nonverbal autistic kids are telepathic, and that something the CIA has always been a little curious about.
Project Stargate operated between 1972 and 95 and attempted to offer, in the words of one congressman, a hell of a cheap radar system. Soviets. Mind readers to spy on the Soviets in the 70s. Where do these guys get these documents? Because Candace Owens is one of the best researchers I've seen. The way she goes back and digs into people's pasts and finds out what they're really about. You know what I'm talking about, Pingback. Yeah.
That video is on my YouTube channel if you want to go further down this rabbit hole. But the reason I bring all this up is this. All, and I mean basically all, of these nonverbal kids talk about God. Some of them fit into this religion or that religion, but they all speak about God. And they all speak about accessing another realm where...
Because these kids are going to heaven. Like, automatically. They're innocent, right? They're like babies. Like, small kids. Of course they can talk to God, right? Makes sense.
Where they're able to communicate with one another, and where they're able to learn to speak in languages they've never learned, and read documents that they've never read, and they speak to and are living evidence of something much bigger than all of us. And in every instance, these abilities that they have inside these bodies that they can't control are inextricably tied to love. When they're in a state of anxiety and fear, they are disconnected from this realm, from God, from whatever it is they're doing. When they're filled with love and happiness, they're able to do incredible, inexplicable things with 100% accuracy.
The same thing goes for us too. Think about that. fill your day with happiness and make people feel happy, and things go good for you. I could give you plenty of examples. Let's hear what he just said one more time, real quick.
Of anxiety and fear, they are disconnected from this realm, from God, from whatever it is they're doing.
Disconnected from the realm. That's what Satan does when you're getting angry, when you're freaking out in public, you know, and yelling at someone. That's you're falling away.
Inextricably tied to love. When they're in a state of anxiety and fear, they are disconnected from this realm, from God, from whatever it is they're doing. When they're filled with love and happiness, they're able to do incredible, inexplicable things with 100% accuracy. And I'll let you listen to the podcast for yourself to make your own judgments about the veracity and what exactly is going on, because you really do have to judge it for yourself. But my point is this. Humanity is going through a seismic shift. The nature of being human is changing inside all of us very rapidly. And although there is so much evil in the world and so many reasons to be fearful and pessimistic and hopeless, that is a facade. Because God is in all of us, and the most powerful force in the universe springs from that part of us. Not from Palantir's digital surveillance systems, not from political propaganda, fear-mongering us into war, not from divisive rhetoric, telling us to hate one another. Our shared humanity is far more powerful than any of the forces that would tear us apart. And I genuinely believe that God will win in this cosmic battle between good and evil. We are here to play our part, to do our best, to live and to love. And even though it seems dark some days, keep going. Because good will always win.
Yes.
The truth will always win. God will always win. And I think that's where I'll leave you guys for now. That's our show. I'm going to read some of your comments in just a minute. But first, I wanted to thank you all so much for being so warm and welcoming to me. I know that usually when you have a substitute, most times you just start shooting spitballs and passing notes and screwing off. But I put in everything I had to make all my episodes with you guys as fun and informative and important as I possibly could. And it meant so much to me for you guys to keep watching each week and to leave such kind comments. Like, really, I'm new at this whole game. I've been doing this for just over 2 years. And to step into the shoes of someone like Candace and try to come anywhere near the bar that she sets is super humbling. And it was the most fun challenge I could have ever set for myself. I learned so much and I'm so grateful to Candace and to the whole team. Thanks for taking me in, trusting me not to make a mess of things. So thank you all. I'd really appreciate it if you followed me on my channel over at Ian Carroll Show. There's a link in the description below because I just ordered a whole bunch of new equipment to level up my YouTube game with all the things I learned from Candace and her team. Just arrived today. I'll be microwaving more tinfoil over on my channel all year long.
Let's do it.
Also,
me too, bro.
Quick update on Tiffany. Tiffany Cianci.
Oh, Tiffany Cianci. Horrible. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'm sorry I haven't made any videos for a few weeks now. I gotta go to work here pretty quick. Come say hi to me. Awesome. Subscribe if you'd like. I'll be back.